This week, the hit CBS series Whistleblower is back for season 2. Former police officer, lawyer, and judge Alex Ferrer takes us to Chicago, where we'll meet a police officer named Shannon Spalding.
She worked undercover in some of the toughest parts of the city, only to discover some of the most dangerous criminals were fellow police officers. She risked her life to stop them.
It was a full-blown war every single day.
Soon after joining the Chicago Police Department in 1996, Shannon Spalding drew an assignment in one of the most violent neighborhoods in the city.
Please open the door.
It was like a movie set. It was shock and awe for me. It was just a completely different world.
To survive, Shannon leaned on veteran cops like Ronald Watts.
I thought he was battling crime, and he was doing it with finesse and grace.
In 2006, a decade after Shannon Spalding was trained by Watts, she had a new assignment in the narcotics division.
I was the undercover. I would go out. I would make the controlled narcotics purchases.
Her partner, Danny Echeverria, would swoop in and make arrests. But during police interviews, something strange started happening.
People would say, I can't believe you're going to arrest me when one of your own is actually running the narcotics trade.
Shannon learned Watts and his crew would plant drugs on residents of the Ida B. Wells projects and extort cash.
Even the good citizens that live there, that are law-abiding citizens, they're subjected to this. We heard he would put anything from a couple bags to enough to put you away for 10, 15, 20 years.
In 2006, Ida B. Wells resident Dolores Allen witnessed this practice firsthand when her son Zarek was pushed up against Watts' police car.
He goes in his pocket, brings out the drugs. If you guys, I catch y'all again, I'm gonna put these drugs on your ass. That's his exact words.
Dolores says Watts kept his word. Later that year, Zarek was arrested and charged with felony possession of heroin and crack cocaine. He was 17 years old. Dolores says the drugs were planted by Watts.
I just seen all these hopes and dreams and stuff it just went down the drain from there.
Shannon and her partner would eventually learn Watts' bad deeds had been going on for years.
If we don't report this criminal conduct, we're absolutely no better than Watts or any of these other corrupt officers. And if we do, we may just be ending our careers, putting ourselves in real danger.
So what did you and your partner decide to do?
I convinced him that we needed to go to the FBI. And my greatest fear was that because this was such a long-running criminal enterprise, I felt that we would be set up for dead.
Well, Shannon and her partner would spend years undercover investigating Ronald Watts and his team. Aided by that investigation, more than 60 people wrongfully arrested by Watts and his team have now been exonerated, including that young man that you saw there, Zarek Johnson.
So, for more on this, we're joined by Alex Ferrer. He's the host and executive producer of Whistleblower. Good to see you.
It's great to be back. Thank you for having me.
Welcome back to a new season of Whistleblower.
Yeah, I'm excited. And we have tremendous cases. They're all different. They're riveting. And you saw last season when I was here.
It was amazing.
This season, I think, is even better.
So what happened to Ronald Watts?
Well, Ronald Watts eventually, in 2012, he was arrested along with one of his fellow officers for basically ripping off a local drug courier who turned out was Shannon Spalding's informant and was wearing a wire. And he ended up getting 22 months in prison. That's all the guy got, 22 months in prison for that crime. But neither he nor any of the officers on his team were ever charged with what happened with these 60 exonerees, and that number just keeps growing.
So why not? I mean, these are at least 60 people whose lives are essentially almost ruined.
Yes, and they and their attorneys want to know why not as well. Yeah. You know, you have people who served years in prison. One guy, I believe, served 10 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit. So yeah, I mean, I was a police officer myself in Miami, and I saw a lot of things. I've never seen anything like what Shannon Spalding and her partner uncovered or what they went through for coming forward.
She must have been terrified, though, through a lot of this.
She was terrified, and her daughter was terrified. I mean, she lost her career. She was a dedicated police officer, loved her job, was liked in the community. We interviewed people who said, you know what, she was fair. She caught you with stuff, you went to jail. If she didn't, you walked. You know, these are people who were criminals in the community who respected her because she played by the rules and loved doing her job. She lost it all, but she doesn't regret doing it because she says it was the right thing to do. She couldn't sit back and watch.
That's something we talked about last year. Remember when you were here with the previous season, that these whistleblowers put so much on the line, and most of them, almost always, lose their career as a result, but they still do it.
Yes, and almost at 2-1, I can't think of any that I've asked, would you do it again, even after they lost everything, and they all say, yeah, I would do it again. It's a strength of character that you have to admire.
Yeah. Well, Alex, I'm looking forward to this new season for sure, and looking forward to talking to you once a week about what's coming up.
I'm looking forward to seeing you guys every week, hopefully.
Awesome.
All right, Alex, thank you.
Thank you.
You can watch season 2, the premiere of Whistleblower, Chicago PD Breaking the Code of Silence, tonight at 8, 7 Central, only on CBS.